Hello, everyone. Welcome to our discussion on application managed services. Maximize your Dynamics 365 Business Central returns. I'm Alex Gorel, your host for today's session, and I'm thrilled to have each of you joining us. Throughout this exclusive webinar, you'll discover how to transform your Dynamics 365 Business Central investment from a cost center to a value driver with Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central Managed Services. Before we get started, a few quick housekeeping notes. If you have any questions during the discussion, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A and we'll address them at the end of the session. We'll be sharing a special offer to all attendees, and you'll also receive access to the recording. I'd like to introduce our speakers. A.K. Nandwana, Vice President of Business Applications at Synoptek, leverages over 2 decades of experience across leading platforms to drive business growth and innovation. He has successfully helped 500 plus clients in selecting the right ERP platforms in various industries. We also have Mitchell Klein. As part of the founding team for Synoptek's Business Central practice, Mitchell brings expertise in project coordination, implementation management, and team leadership. In today's agenda, we'll be touching on the following: thinking about the value of your ERP, also touch on post-implementation Business Central challenges, along with key components of value creation. We'll share some real-life success stories. Transforming your pains into profits. We'll discuss that. And then we'll also share a bit about Synoptek's approach to Business Central Managed Services. Now, I'd like to invite Mitchell to get it started.
Thank you. So to start us off here, since its growth or release in 2018, Business Central has become a go-to option for many small and medium businesses looking for a robust and accessible SaaS-based ERP. In a short span, over 40,000 customers have moved to BC, and that count is only increasing at an increasing rate, about 200% annually. Unfortunately, while 80% of customers have had successful implementations on the platform, over half are not reporting achieving a return on the investment that they expected. So today we'll be talking a little bit about why there's that gap between successful implementations and low ROI, some of the challenges people are facing around in-house expertise, managing their change, etc., and how to think about increasing and driving that value for your organization. So what challenges are commonly faced after businesses go live on Business Central? First, businesses often lack that in-house expertise or resource capacity to provide their end users with timely support. And when you're trying to foster adoption of your new system, it needs to be a priority to minimize user downtime. The frustration that end users feel when pulled from their core roles into figuring out the system, it has a further reaching effect than I think most organizations realize, as it often halts the momentum that you as organization leaders ride to push forward your change management and continuous improvement initiatives. Further, if you're not actively monitoring the types and volume of tickets coming through the service desk, your business is significantly more likely to miss the process issues or knowledge gaps amongst your user base that need to be addressed. Now, along these same lines, businesses often lack a standardized set of SOP for the user base, which increases the frequency of disruptions, increases onboarding time for any new resources, and most importantly, makes it more challenging to identify where you're having those process issues as you have a disparate set of processes you're working against. So when you're able to identify those recurring issues in the core functions, it naturally creates that backlog of processes that you can work towards bring to best practice and standardize throughout your organization. Next, many businesses will come out of their initial implementations needing to resolve many pain points in their current BC system. So maybe you've had partners or issues with your partner during your implementation, and you didn't feel like your business processes were actually accurately captured. and your configuration doesn't really support those business processes, or maybe implementation constraints led your organization to go live with more of a MVP approach, and you're needing to have fast follows and layer functionality on top of that. Or maybe it's just something as small as since you've gone live, Microsoft's pushed out several big updates, and your system just, has some gaps between the functionality that you're not taking advantage of. But no matter how you got there, it's extremely common for there to be those gaps between what your system can do and what's currently doing for you. And these are often the lowest hanging fruit in optimizing your BC environment, that can be addressed first. So going beyond those low-hanging fruit and looking more towards, your future state look of your business. A lot of companies often hear, um, or not hear, face issues with their change management, around their continuous improvement. So one of the greatest advantages of having a SaaS platform is the fact that there are regular releases of the patches with new features coming out and bugs being fixed. But the ROI on maintaining in-house expertise that to manage this, can often be low, which is why it's always helpful to bring in a managed service partner that can kind of outsource some of that expertise and management. Um, and this kind of takes us into our next point of having that strategic partner and incorporating these ongoing improvements. Um, when managing a high ticket volume, oh, I apologize. Um, when I'm skipping around here. Let me just take us to our fourth point here around system maintenance and management. Right. Oftentimes, IT administration can be one of um, the blockers to really managing your BC system well after you've gone live, whether that's capacity issues with managing high volume of tickets, having the expertise to look for metrics for performance monitoring or security risks, um, or being able to test new updates and new releases before you push to your live environment to avoid any future issues. Um, again, this takes us back into our in-house expertise and resource capacity to be able to manage these issues. You'll see that we dropped a poll in the chat here, where you're able to voice some of your opinions about what challenges your business might be facing with Business Central. All right. So next here, as you are coming out of these challenges um, that diminish your return on investment, we want to think about the components that are going to drive the value creation, that you as leaders need to consider for your organization. So the first is going to be proactive support. Minimizing downtime is one of the simplest ways to drive ROI by anticipating issues that you're going to be facing. You maximize your uptime, and as mentioned before, you keep that frustration low, which is really key. The less issues you face, the more confident users are in the system, the higher their self-efficacy in learning the system and suggesting improvements that feed into that future initiative backlog. Evaluating your current trends in your tickets also allows you or your partner to identify the processes that are misaligned from best practices and move towards optimizing your configuration. And further, your partner can perform a root cause analysis to address what those underlying issues are coming from, that are disrupting your business. The next value driver that you want to focus on is, again, continuous improvement. To really leverage the value that the SaaS platform brings, your business needs to lean into and manage the ongoing release of the new functionality. Whether it's one of the reasons that I mentioned earlier or your business needs have changed, there are going to be areas where your system can be optimized to better support your business processes. Typically, this would look like leaning into automation or removing redundant and manual processes. And embracing automation also reduces the load on your staff, allowing you to streamline your resources or shift their functionality or their focus to their other core functions. Along the same lines as continuous improvement, is the necessity for strategic alignment. Alone, continuous improvement just looks like having a backlog of items that you've been meaning to address. But one of the greatest value adds of bringing in a managed service partner is introducing the strategic partner element. So, with the plethora of changes that can be made, it's important to contextualize your initiatives and prioritize which are going to be most impactful to your business. It's essential to align your development plan with your business goals, tying back to one of the issues earlier. It can be challenging to maintain that expertise of knowing, that broader Microsoft space, the tech landscape, and how you define your IT strategy to align with your business growth goals. Bringing in a MSP that has a deep understanding of your business and can work with you to define what that critical path looks like and drive you down that path can help you mature your IT strategy from more of a reactive approach to a proactive horizon that really minimizes your technical debt and compounds to grow your business quicker. That takes us to our last point here, which is around efficiency. So, as you grow your business and your business becomes larger, efficiencies have greater returns. And by leveraging your MSP, you can also benefit from economies of scale as you're bringing in a team with deeper and wider base of expertise and resources that you can really pull to address, either your issues or your future initiatives. Further, as you stabilize your system and the end user issues by bringing in a partner, you're going to be driving more predictable IT expenditure and have more reliability in your support. So, overall, as your system starts to become optimized and stabilized, you can start to consolidate your tech stack and reduce your spend and complexity. All right. So, as we talk about some of the issues that you face and what drives the value, we want to take a look at what this looks like in practice. And so we're going to take a look here at a home renovations company that really leaned into this philosophy of continuous improvement and worked with Synoptech to work towards their future goals. So, having recently acquired several businesses in their region, this roofing company had grown to span across 10 states, and they recognized the need to modernize their systems to support their recent growth and carry some of their momentum forward. They selected Dynamics BC as their ERP of choice and pushed forward with a minimally viable product approach. And by committing their team to the implementation, they were able to turn around the implementation within the tight time frame that they had promised to their leadership. And as a result, they were able to carry that inertia forward to foster support for their future initiatives. So they set upon approving their MVP that they went live with by optimizing their system and layering in functionality. So first, as their partner, we help them organize their backlog of user issues, work through some root cause analysis to remove some of the recurring problems that we were facing. We were able to clean up some of their processes around jobs and accounting, streamline some of their integrations with other platforms. And then we start to layer in some automation to their processes that really help them focus on getting quick reporting and visibility into some of the vital data. And along with that vital data, we customize some of those reports to improve the effectiveness of people on their day-to-day jobs, again, the visibility into their data. With each win, we slowly built momentum, and soon, with strategic alignment, we worked with them to implement and integrate Business Central with Dynamics CRM. And through this, they were able to improve their data accuracy and visibility again, as well as reduce the number of screens that their users had to work with as we consolidated processes between these systems. So after their first year, they were able to support significant growth in their employee base, about 35% in that first year, and drastically reduce the time that they needed for month-end close. Next, we have another example, similar industry here around a window and door manufacturer, um, who, working with us, were able to manage or leverage the support of their managed service partner um, as they came off of QuickBooks. So coming off of a smaller system, one of their biggest pain points was around the visibility into their financials and management of their financials. And although Business Central added much needed dimensionality to the general ledger um, and gave them better visibility into their reconciliation, um, they still had some issues with their downsized team with the change management and the adoption of the new system. People often get stuck in their ways. So they turned to their partner to assist with building out SOP for best practices and providing ongoing trainings, lunch and learns for new features as they came out. And just little frustration eases, like modifying the user interface to declutter and make the information they needed readily available at a few clicks. Um, this really helped build and foster the sense of confidence that their users had in the system. Soon we saw the users turning to their partner less and less for help as they started becoming a little bit more proactive in their approach rather than reactive with the issues. And we were able to clear out most of the backlog of the issues they had and optimize their system. Also, with this team as well, I apologize for skipping slides here. They were able to shorten their month-end close and keep their financial records up to date which helped with invoicing, turnaround, and the like. I'll now turn it over to AK here to talk a little bit about that transition from cost into value.
Yeah, thank you, Mitchell. I appreciate that. Good thoughts there. Hi, everyone. Before we talk about like transitioning from cost to the value, I think it's important to understand that where organization needs to like focusing more particularly in the SMB. It's more so true in the SMB. And where are the costs today actually, or the hidden cost actually that you can uncover actually and turn that into a kind of value actually. So as an SMB, like you believe that, see, the resources are limited today in business, right? Be it the financial resources or human resources and all that, right? And then you have as a business, you have a core competency. If you are in a distribution business, then distribution is your core competency and not IT actually, right? Or any other business for that matter, right? So that's the one portion. Second is if you look at today, like technologies are changing at a rapid pace actually, where on a daily basis you see you hear new things actually, like how the cloud platforms are evolving, how different sales and marketing technologies are evolving in the post pandemic environment, on how you reach out to your customers, that is changing, right? So like again, going back to the previous point, like in terms of the resources, we have a limitation because you are focusing on your business, trying to grow it. Your limited resources, they are supporting and wearing multiple hats. At the same time, you also have to have an eye on what's going on in the technology actually, just to keep competitive and ahead of your other competitors in the market, right? The third thing is aligning technology tools with the evolving business needs. So, you also kind of need a little bit of guidance in terms of, hey, where is my business going? What are my business goals for next 2 years, 3 years? What is our roadmap? Are we going in the geo expansion where we are opening more branches, or going to the more markets, or diversifying our product line and whatnot? And how does technology support that actually, and is it aligned, like everything that I'm doing today in terms of the investment, are my investments aligned with the roadmap that I have for the business actually, or my business has actually, am I aligned on that? So there are some costs involved there also actually, if you don't think properly actually, because you can end up doing something that might you have to redo, or that investment will be down the drain actually, if you don't think in advance actually, right? The other part is like when you have multiple technology, we're also talking about, like, do I deal with like a 10 vendor? Do I have a bandwidth to like talk to 10 vendors, like on a 10 different technologies? Or Are there providers where, they have a basket of services and I can do a little bit of a, like application consolidation or platform consolidation, from the technology perspective? So the maintenance is easy because, sometimes, multiple technologies can be a challenging actually in terms of how you manage your vendors and whatnot. Scaling, of course, like, how you do, like if you have some integrations and your partners where you are doing some collaborations and all that, that keeps changing actually. Like today, you have a distributor where you're not doing EDI, but tomorrow if you want to do an EDI, right? So you think about some of those, cost involved there also. So the point I'm trying to make is that it's not just like your recurring cost on the license. It's not just your recurring cost on, managing the solution alone, but there are other factors which are more business actually, where there is a lot of cost involved in managing your platforms and IT that you deploy actually, right? So how do you simplify that and turn that into more like a value actually? And this is something we are hearing from our multiple customer CIOs and the IT head of ITs that we are speaking on a daily basis. So one is, we hear loud and clear saying that, hey, my core competency is retail or like a consumer business, and I want to focus on that. So I want to get a vendor who can do it for me rather than I spending my time on it, right? Second thing we are hearing actually from the value perspectives, kind of working with somebody who can just keep you, like abreast of technology in terms of what's happening, from the latest greatest perspective, have that, incorporated in your roadmap and kind of a thing actually. So you can think in the direction also actually from that perspective, saying that, do I have a vendor who thinks ahead of me, who thinks about my business goals and trying to, suggest the initiatives that are aligned with, where I want to go like 2 years from now as a business and whatnot, right? And then how do you think about, managing, employee productivities and other related costs actually, because there are also a lot of like money involved from the business perspective to drive the scalability. So the point I'm trying to make here is that business has a lot of like hidden cost actually beyond your regular technology cost that you see on the invoices actually, that you pay to your technology vendor. How do you turn that into more like to your advantage, where you can simplify some of those and focus on what's your core competency to grow your business and optimize your cost and whatnot, productivity as well actually. So with that, moving forward, as a Synoptek, actually, which is what I want to talk next. So as a company, I'll give a little bit of credential, actually, how we have been working with our clients, actually. So as a company, we've been in the business for close to like 22 years now. And one thing different about Synoptek is that our approach to the business, like most of these technology initiatives, and this is something that I'll talk in the next slide also. Our approach to most of these technology transformations or any IT that we are doing with our client, the first thing we ask is, hey, what are the business goals that we are going after actually, and then can we help you achieve those business outcomes actually, right? Rather than being your pure play BC business central mechanics or XYZ like a Teams mechanics or M365 mechanic, right? So this is where we are differentiating now in terms of our credentials. As I mentioned, 22 year in business, we have around 1,100 employees. 50% of that workforce is dedicated to these transformation projects, and another 50-60% of that is on our managed services, which is a big part of our what we do, because we believe strongly in managed services as a company. We have worked with like we have sizable business application practice, close to like 350 people in that practice that we have built over a period of 10 years now, and worked with 250 different clients actually in the different industry, and help them be successful actually in their investments, right? So that's about Synoptic. Of course, we are a very large, Microsoft partner with all the capabilities, like a 12, 13 different competencies in the core areas of Microsoft. So that's about the Synoptic. Now, coming specific to Business Central as a managed service, right? As I was mentioning earlier, uh, today, if you look at like few things are happening in the market. One is you heard Mitchell talking about in the opening, comment saying that hey, after launch in 2018, Microsoft suddenly gained like 40,000 customers literally in no time, actually, right? So it is growing at a faster pace, which also means that it brings a little bit of a challenge in the market in terms of the fact that the talent is not growing at the same pace the customer base is growing, which means most of the BC providers are very, very busy right now doing new implementations and whatnot, and they are not focusing on driving the value post implementation. And why I say so is that as a Synoptic, this is our philosophy that often customers reach out to us saying that hey, I want to do this accounting migrations or upgrade my current accounting system. And we always tell those customers saying that hey, I mean, it is a good exercise. Like I can replace your like a sunsetting accounting system or something which is a non-supported or you outgrown in your existing ERP. So we can help you replace. But our philosophy with those customers is that customers with those customers are saying that hey, we don't bring value just by replacing. Actually, no customer gets any value by just replacing their existing platform. The value starts after it is deployed, actually, right? Where you deployed the system, you started using. So we talk about the productivity, we talk about how it is supporting your business goals, how it is making life easy for the people to operate on it, how we manage and maintain it at a very cost effective way and whatnot, right? So that's where the business goals and the value drivers that I was talking about earlier comes into the play, right? So in the conclusion, what I want to say, the way, one way we are very different from other providers is that we believe in the full life cycle of the entire transformation. Actually, it's right from your planning, onboarding, all the way to the deployment and the post implementation support, as well as like doing ongoing enhancements and improvements actually that aligns with your business needs, actually, right? And what that does to us is that we participate with the customers on an ongoing basis and making sure that we are like a true their IT partner from that perspective, where everything is so aligned, their costs spend are aligned, their objectives are aligned, goals are aligned and whatnot, actually. And that's where we focus a lot, actually, as a company. So with that thinking, like, we have come up with this offering. Let me go to the next slide. So with this offering, like what we have done is, with all this thinking, we have come up with this offering called Synoptic as a managed services business application, as a managed application managed services for the Business Central. I'm sorry. So this offering is nothing but basically you have two key components of any client engagement we have. So one is initial set of fees, actually, like, which is kind of non-recurring, actually. Like you can have a new Business Central deployed, or your existing Great Plain migration, or a quick big migration, or a sales migration, whatever it is. So there are some initial non-recurring services which are one-time set of fees and stuff like that. Or you're launching a new model, or you're just saying that hey, I have a new plant that we are starting and we need to roll out and all that stuff. So we include all those services in the beginning, including some planning and consulting services to help you get it right. And then there are ongoing services which are non-recurring in nature, actually, right? So which are typically your ongoing enhancements, some additional, feature rollouts, additional locations, and additional business rollouts and whatnot. And of course, the ongoing user support, hand-holding trainings, and all that stuff. So what we do is, as a as an offering, we combine both the non-recurring as well as recurring services into one single basket. And we just, offer you as a flat monthly fee, actually saying that, hey, just pay us like $2,000 a month or $1,000 a month, and you're covered on, probably your security, it's not just like a business application alone, but if there is you're deployed in on premises, we cover your hardware servers and all that, your SQL database, anything to do with the security, like assuring the user security as well as the system security, like both kind of security and all that stuff, and plus some consulting hours as well, actually. So your spend is very, very predictable, saying that, hey, I'm only paying a monthly fee, but I get like a basket of services within that monthly fee. And it is not like a certain burden where I have to go and ask my finance head saying that, hey, I need a $50,000 because I'm doing this XYZ project and all that. So it makes your roadmap much more easier, spread your risk. At the same time, you have a vendor who's like equally owning this risk with you, and then delivering the value, actually, for you, actually. So with that, I would like to ask Suhani to maybe launch another, like a quick poll, actually, and then I'll talk about one specific offer that we have, actually, that you might want to think about leveraging, actually, if you are really keen to explore this service. All right, with that, if there's something that is exciting to you or something that you're curious about, there are two ways we can help you, actually, right? So one is like, you're not sure today if it's of some value to you, or you feel that, hey, you're already doing everything right, and that you don't feel that there'll be some additional savings and whatnot. Then we have some kind of a value assessment that we can do for you, and this is we do as a like a no cost to the customers, just to help them prepare, actually, like small and medium businesses prepare for some of these future conversations and whatnot, actually. So if you have some curiosity around, hey, is the managed service right for me, and can I save some additional dollars, can I do more for less, can I add more services, can I make it much more like a roadmap oriented, then we can do some kind of a value assessment for you. So feel free to, like, our team, can reach out, or we can reach out to you, or you can reach out to our teams that you're talking to, and see if you want to leverage this offer. So that's a one. Or if you believe that, hey, you already have a business central deployment working fine, but I think you see an opportunity where you can leverage managed services, and this is something that excites you, then you can also sign up for the services where, right now, for any customer that we are onboarding till 31st October, or maybe a little beyond that, then we can, like, we are waiving the onboarding fee, actually, which is typically like a $20,000 worth of services. And then also up to 5 months of a free support, depending on the length of contract. So if you say, hey, I'm going for a 36 months contract, then probably you can get like a 3 months of service at a no cost, actually. So that gives you a, time to, like, try the service and see if it really makes, business sense for you, actually. So with that, I will transition this to Alex. Actually, she has some more, exciting, updates to provide on the upcoming events and whatnot. So Alex, over to you.
Thanks, AK. All right. So if you are looking for us at the next event, we will be at the Community Summit North America 2024 in San Antonio. If you're already attending, then you probably know that it's October 13th through the 17th. Something that you may not know, we are booth 1650, and we'd love to see you. Love to meet with you there, meet you in person. We are also hosting a special event. It's a private event on October 15th, starting at 6:30 at Margaritaville. It is an invite only, so we'd love to invite you. Let us know if you like to join us. And so there'll be drinks and dinner and conversation hosted by Synoptic. And with that, let us know. We're going to just launch a quick poll. If you are going, just raise your hand and we can send you that invite directly here. You can also look on our website and find out when our events are and engage with us there as well. All right. Thanks for participating in that piece. Okay, moving on to some questions. Let's see here. So please feel free to drop your questions into the Q&A box. We are happy to talk through them. Looks like we have some here. Let's see. All right. Okay, here's one, guys. What are the common signs that indicate we need better support for our Business Central instance?
Sure, I could take that one. So I guess there's a couple ways you could look at that. One is from a system perspective, right? Or is there a gap in your system functionality that you're looking to improve? Now, these might be things like today you still have a lot of reporting being done in Excel, or a lot of manual data entries, imports, things like payroll, as an example. Or maybe your processes, you notice that you have a lot of like unstructured data, documents being shared manually through email, and the like. Um, that could be an indication that there's some features or functionality in the system that you can add to your backlog and get a partner to help you address. Other things might be some things that point to poor health in your business processes. If you have a lot of like inventory adjustments or journal corrections in the system, there might be some root causes to those processes that you need to be looking at. Um, or things like the frustration from your team is high, you're getting a lot of negative feedback about this system, it's taking them a long time to complete their processes, a lot of clicks. um, or if you're having high volume of tickets, right, and it's not decreasing, it's continuing to stay high, and that's causing a lot of draw on your staff. It might be a sign that you need some structure to help manage that flow of tickets to your support desk. On the other side of things, looking forward, perhaps you're recognizing that internally you're just lacking the in-house expertise to help define what your development plan is to align with your business goals. Maybe you've been finding that you have these abstract goals that you want to work towards, but they've been staying that just abstract, and you've been having a tough time defining the critical path to get there. So I would say if you recognize any of those as issues that you're facing, it might be a sign that you're in need of better, more support for your Business Central instance.
Thanks, Mitchell. Hopefully that will help you figure that out if you want to continue that conversation with us. Okay, we have another one here. How did you help your customers achieve cost reductions and financial efficiency with BC Managed Services?
Yeah, I can take that one. Thanks, Alex. So I think from the cost reduction perspective, first we need to see where the cost is. So like during the managed services engagement, typically the way we look at the cost is one is, are there any processes the way it is designed today, right? Either in the system or in general, how we are performing those processes. There is a little bit of a cost actually because it kind of a bottleneck to your productivity actually, right? So first thing we look at is that, hey, how are you doing like a procure to pay process today or order to cash process and whatnot? And is there something that we can simplify actually that makes it for your employee to increase the his or her productivity, at the same time support the business and the customer better actually, right? So one is process improvements on an ongoing basis actually. So we look at that actually once we start the onboarding process. The second is like like a lot of time when you have a lot of these multiple applications that have evolved over time. Sometimes you've seen in a lot of customers that there is an application consolidation kind of opportunity. So you have like a multiple systems that you're trying to integrate to just get a functionality that you need to like support your business processes. We look at that saying that, hey, is there a consolidation opportunity where, say, suppose the way you are doing some integration, so like you got a third party app for the accounts payable or something like that, can we bring that functionality back into your core platform actually, and then or integrate it differently actually? So one is we can reduce the overall footprint and make it more cohesive, like a closed platform actually. So your future upgrades and the amount of time you spend every time you make a change in one system to reflect that change in another system can be easy. So we look at second, like, so first is a business process, second is technology, like app consolidation or a technology consolidation opportunity. The third I would say is the flavor of technology itself or a vendor management. So like if, see, it is very difficult if you have a 10 different best of the breed technologies and that you are using for your business. It's very difficult to have an in-house skill for everything, to manage those, right? So you're relying on the vendors. So when you're relying on the vendor, there is a cost involved actually. So we see, is there a possibility where some of these technologies either can be consolidated, as I mentioned earlier, or can be brought on a platform which is much more standard, so your current vendor can support it actually, rather than you dealing with the 10 different vendors and spending money on like a ongoing maintenance actually, right? So that's the third. And the fourth is of course scale of operations, right? When you have a dedicated people from your vendor to support versus you work with somebody like Synoptic where you have a managed services, the entire organization set up for the managed services, which means you have a pool of resources that you are leveraging actually, right? So there are economies of scale actually, right? Where I can have a 4 people talent pool, divided into 10 different customers. You still have a support that you need, but at the same time you're sharing the cost with somebody actually, so it doesn't become your 100% your cost actually, versus sharing the burden with somebody actually. So leverage those economies basically. So that's how I see the cost part actually.
Thanks, AK. Let me see here. All right. Okay. Okay, here's one. Yeah, and you guys can continue adding your Q&A in here, and then I'll just share it with the group and we'll continue to answer them. How do you ensure cost effectiveness and transparency in your managed service offerings?
Yeah, I would say that go back to the slide that I talked about, where I said that, hey, what we do is like we have a lot of these services actually that we can bundle into one, and it's just a one flat monthly fee actually that you're paying actually. So there's complete transparency in terms of how much you're spending. Your spend is very predictable with us actually on the Business Central, because we know exactly what is the level of service that you need actually. And we also, the other thing we do actually, which we are very conscious, is that if our customers are spending money with us, we want to make sure that they're utilizing, the spend with us actually. So, and we are contributing the value as I mentioned earlier. So what we do is on a quarterly or on a periodic basis, we do review our ongoing number of support tickets and stuff like that. And if we know that it needs to be either scale up or scale down just to make sure that it is aligned correctly, then you'll see us doing that as well actually, right?
Okay. All right, let me kind of summarize this one. You touched on some of this during the conversation, but what are there, and what are they? Are there immediate benefits and potentially long-term benefits if we were to transition to managed services for our operations?
Yeah, I would go back to the same thing, like, think about your core competencies. You can focus on that. You don't have in-house in-house ability to keep the pace with the technology, so rely on somebody actually that they can bring that technology expertise to you at a cost that you can afford, right? The third is, of course, like any managed services vendor you'll go, if it's like a proper managed services with some value on the table, then you leverage this economies of scale that I just now mentioned actually in the previous question, like answering the previous question actually. So you should think about like vendor consolidation, application consolidation, leveraging the economies of scales and whatnot actually, right?
Okay, perfect. And thanks for being so engaged, everyone. This is an interesting one. As a marketer, I love ROI. So the question is, what metrics should we track to evaluate the ROI of our ERP investment?
Yeah. So I think when thinking about ROI, I mean that's really the key question is how do you add metrics to your process to really gauge that ROI. I think that one of the most straightforward ways to add metrics in your system is looking at your processes and trying to assign value to those. So oftentimes when doing an implementation, you will have your list of all the functionalities that your users are performing and that the system needs to support. And you could start to create this backlog of processes and track how much time the team is spending on each one. And then as you automate away redundant processes or manual processes, and you get to see how the time spent by your team on each process decreases, you could do some cost analysis of X hours at this rate for this employee and start to quantify exactly what those savings look like. And also, use that to evaluate which areas are you spending the most time on? Do you need the most help with as you plan what those future initiatives might be?
Perfect. Thanks, Mitchell. I don't see any other questions, so we're gonna move on. And I just want to say thank you all for joining us today for our session on application managed services. Maximize your Dynamics 365 Business Central returns. We shared how to drive the best results from your Dynamics 365 Business Central system implementation, optimize its use, and receive much needed support for seamless and sustained operations. You may be asking, how does my company take advantage of these exclusive offers after this webinar? No, we did a poll and you may have raised your hand, but if you recognize that you want to continue the conversation or just explore it afterwards and take advantage of some of these exclusive offers and just have a discussion, we're more than happy to do that. We, want to just partner with you and make sure that you're looking at things in the best way. So if you do realize that after this call, no worries. We are here to help you navigate that, and you can reply to the email that you'll receive after this session. Either way, go ahead and sign up for one of the two offers mentioned, and then you can explore how your company can benefit. And lastly, keep an eye out in your inbox, and we'll provide a follow-up email with some additional resources related to the discussion today. Until next time, take care and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.